And I imagine that if she were to try to personify her relationship, with cigarettes, that the love story might go something like this. Light it up, boys. I know what you're going to say. The fact that John Player had a reputation for destroying girls' lives was hardly a secret, and I was better off without him. But there's more to it than that. You didn't know him like I did. From the first time I saw him, I knew there was something reckless and dangerous about him. Yet I believed that in the hands of the right woman, he could be tamed, even harmless. And the thought of being that woman intrigued me, because I believed it provided proof that I really was powerful. And although I heard the warnings of my friends, I have to admit, there was a part of me that didn't mind a bit of a rough time. I was reckless and a danger to myself. I thought we made the perfect couple. We didn't see each other privately at first. It was always when he was with the crowd and he was distant and cool. I feared my youth prevented him from taking me seriously, but in time, I did manage to introduce myself and arrange for a few private conversations. I admit it was awkward at first, but I found his company totally intoxicating. And it wasn't long before spending time with him felt as natural as breathing. He was playful and romantic, and I breathed him into the deepest recesses of my heart. And that's when I knew I was in love. Soon we were seen everywhere together, and I stopped noticing the disapproving stares. After all, I thought he was more accepting of me than any of them had ever been. My parents didn't approve of him at all and made no effort at pretenses. Even my friends found him so offensive they couldn't even stand to be in his company, and they'd say things to me like, "Why don't you just give him up? You'd have more money, less stress. You deserve better." Naturally, their comments just made me feel defensive and fiercely protective, clinging to him all the more. What they didn't understand was that I had confided in him. And I'd shown him who I really was. Perhaps those defensive reactions were really to protect myself from the painful truth, for in my secret thoughts, I knew they were right. I tried not to think about it when we were together, as he'd become moody and sullen much of the time. It frightened me to think that our relationship might be one-sided, and I started to wonder if he even shared my feelings. I was starting to suffer financially, and if I was honest with myself, I had to admit I was starting to show some signs of wear and tear. He seemed to sense when I was having these doubts and would make a concerted effort to lighten up and suggest going out. He knew I found his playful side irresistible, especially when he was freshly dressed, pressed, and ready to paint the town. Predictably, I'd be swooning all over again and gladly paying the cost. We lived together for more than 11 years. Although the last few years were an accelerated cycle of breakups and reunions. I'd think I was better off, but then I'd see him with other people and feel these intense cravings for him in the way we used to be. I felt disoriented and confused and so used to his daily silent cues that told me what to think and how to feel that I had no idea what my own feelings were. I'd miss him so much I'd take stupid risks to try to manipulate some sort of accidental reunion. He was my first thought in the morning, and the memory of him haunted me through tortured sleep. I endured this cycle more times than I can remember, but I always took him back. That is, until the last time. I guess that's why I'm telling you this. You see, it was in January when we finally broke it off. And I know he's seeing other people, but I still miss his empathy during our late night chats. Sometimes when I see them together, I miss the good times. Sometimes I'm surprised to feel pangs of compassion for those who are making the same stupid mistake. I sympathize with their eyes of empty grief and the frantic driven activity that accompanies pained distraction. It's hard to lose someone. And as time goes by, I realize that what I so desperately wanted to believe was a connection was really nothing more than a painful entanglement. Sometimes I'm pleased to know that we've grown apart, and sometimes I have to wonder if that was even really me back there.